Welcome back guys, hope you're all doing great, and today in this video I'm gonna show you how to create a responsive and modern web 3.0 portfolio by using ReactJs, Tailwind CSS and Spline 3D modeling, and along with that we are using Framer Motion for animations. And this is the portfolio we are going to create completely from the scratch. Now allow me what we are going to do in this project. And if you have a look at here, it's having this nice 3D modeling over here, and look at that. When I'm moving my mouse over it, it's responding perfectly according to our hover event. And this is nicely done by using Spline, so that Spline designs, thanks to them, so we successfully created this 3D model design with the help of the Spline. And this project is completely deployed in a live, and still it's working fine without any lagging, and I can click it and move around and it's working perfectly in all the angle. Look at that. And this is completely responsive, so that's why I split it into two different screens. This is main and this is the mobile screen. And if I scroll down, you can see that we have this nice about section over here, and you can see that it's having this nice button which is nicely done by using Tailwind CSS. And if you scroll down, we're having this timeline over here and it's animating perfectly, so you can add all your educational or work experience over here. And we have few projects timeline over here. You can add n number of projects as you wish. Currently I just added 6 projects over here. And after below that I added all the social media links to contact the particular person, and it's also having this nice click event. When I click, it's currently there is no link, that's why it's taking me to the top, but the main information is if I click this, you can see that that button is having nice click button. See, so when I click it, it's scaling down and it's scaling up. So that is awesome, right? That is nicely done by using Framer Motion. And as I said, this website is completely responsive, and this is how it looks in the mobile screen. Look at that. And even I can change the view of our 3D, and how cool it is, right? And if I click this, you can see that the button is nicely animating, and the navigation menu, how it's coming in, you can see that it's scaling down and the opacity is coming up. So this is nicely done by using your Framer Motion, and it's very easy to integrate these animations. Okay, and if I go to the about section, and that will take us to that about section where you can see that particular person information, and this button is completely responsive. So this is how it looks in the main screen. And the timeline, this is how it looks in the main screen, and look at the timeline in the mobile screen, how awesome it is. Okay, and this is how the project will be looked in the mobile screen, and this is the main screen. If you scroll down, you can see the contact us section over here and over here. So I hope you guys are so excited. So watch this video to the end and learn how to create this modern portfolio and create this portfolio for yourself. And if you're watching this video for my video for first time, and hit the like and subscribe to my channel, and that will encourage me to come up with more modern ideas. Okay then, so let's get started. So now what we need to do is we need to create a new folder over here. So let me create a new folder in the desktop, new folder called portfolio. Okay, so portfolio, that's a folder I created, and now let me open it in the command prompt. C drive, cd desktop, and cd portfolio, which is the folder which we created, and let me open it in the Visual Studio Code. Okay, so that will open it in the Visual Studio Code. You are free to use whatever the code editor you wish to use, so I prefer to use the Visual Studio Code. And over here, so now what we need to do is we are going to create a React app. So yarn create, I'm using the yarn. You can use the node package manager also, that means the npm or npx. So you can use that one, but I prefer to use the yarn. Okay, so create React app and /. So this will create the React application in the current directory. So once you hit enter, that will create the React application. So this is going to take a while. So in the meanwhile, we'll go and let's have a look at our project. So this is the 3D we are going to work on. So if you expand it, so if you're spinning it, so it's having this nice hover and click event. So just like I said, so this is done by using Spline designs. So search for Spline in the Google, search for Spline. You can find their Spline design tool for 3D web experiences. So if you open it, so I dropped the link in the description also, you can click it from there and look at that. It's completely there. Created lots and lots of 3D integrations over here. Cool, right? If you scroll down, you can find quite a lot and lots of animations over here. So we just created this design over there from the scratch. I will show you how to create and everything. Okay, and they also given the commands and all those things to integrate with our React project. So I tried to integrate with the Next.js, but it's not working fine, because even Next is also working on the React framework only, but it's not allowing me to integrate this Spline. It's showing some unwanted error. Later I moved on to the React. That's why we are creating this project by using ReactJs. Okay, so you can download this software, and which is really lightweight, and it's free to use. And if you want to use more than that, you need to pay some amount, like monthly, around $7 something. So if you click this open app, it will directly opens it in the browser itself, but you need a strong internet connection to work without any lagging or anything else. Sign in with your Google account itself. Let me sign in with my Google account, and that will takes me directly into their dashboard. And look at that, these are the things I practiced before creating this video and finalized. This is our final video. Okay, so this is the design which I done already for our project. Okay, this is a design which I done already for our project, but we are not going to use this one. I'm going to show you how to create this completely from the scratch. Okay, so let me go back, and over here you can see this is the dashboard, and in the left side you can see the library. If you go to their library, you can find some free 3D elements also. You can use it in your projects. On look at that, this mouse mushroom is really cool, right? So you can just click it and you can export it and you can use it for your project. And then if you go to the my files, and now let's start creating it. So click new file over here. Okay, so once you click the new file over here, so it's having this camera and lightning, and along with this canvas over here, so we don't need anything. And in the right side you can see all the properties of that element, whatever we are selecting over here. It's having material for color, shapes, and events, states, and all those things. So it is highly user friendly and very easy to use them also. And over here at the top you can see some of the components like sphere, cube, and the pen tool to freehand drawing. And over here the lots and lots of objects, you can use it multiple options over here. And you can see that like in the latest version they added this bunny also. You can draw a bunny and you can have your own creativity to make the color changes and all those things. Look at that. Okay, so initially when you using this Spline tool for first time, you can find some tutorials and all those things along in the dashboard itself. You can go through it. That is really useful because I learned it from their tutorial only. Okay, and now let's have a look our project, whether it is created or not. So our project is successfully created now. So let me open up and let's integrate the Tailwind CSS with that. So let's go here and search for Tailwind css.com. Okay, so click get started, and we are going to create it integrated with the React app. So search for React, so it will gives you install Tailwind CSS with the create React app. So we already created the React project, so we don't need to worry about it. And let's copy this. Basically we are using yarn, so I don't need the npm over here, so I'll copy it and I go back here. And let me type yarn add. So wherever I'm typing yarn add, you can use npm install. If I'm typing yarn remove, you can use npm and install. Okay, so if I paste the copied content, and this will create that this will add all the necessary packages for our Tailwind CSS, and it's added. And then now what we need to do is we need to initialize our Tailwind. That will create the Tailwind config and post CSS config, two different files. So we successfully created these two configuration files over here, and we need to change few things inside over here. So we need to change the content, along with we need to add this line in our Tailwind CSS. Let me copy this and post it. Go to inside index.css and right after here, let me paste it. And we need to copy this one also. Copy it, and you have to paste it inside over here. Replace the content. Okay, so actually I'm just going to copy and paste the code, like the properties of the Tailwinds, whatever I'm going to use. So you guys don't need to worry about it. I just leave this code in the description. You can click it and then you can copy it and paste it over here. Okay, so let me copy it and paste it completely over here. Copy it and paste it. So this is nothing but just a static informations like margin and the width and the height and the color, whatever the color we are going to use. So later, whatever in the upcoming sessions, if I am copying and pasting some code, you don't need to worry about it. All the codes are just static informations, and you can find that code in your description, in the description box itself. Okay, so now our Tailwind is done, and let's import the Google font. So to import the Google font and to work with the Tailwind and the React project, I'm using quite three nice extensions. For working with React, you need to install this ES7 React Redux snippets, which is really comes handy whenever you're working with React project. So go ahead and install this project. If you haven't done, then you need to install this Tailwind CSS extension. So this will Tailwind CSS IntelliSense, which helps you to gives you the suggestions of their utility classes whenever you're writing the React component. Then I need to install the Google fonts. So you don't need to go to the Google font website and copy and paste it over here. Install this extension and then press Ctrl+Shift+P, and you can find Google font insert CSS at import URL. Click it and it will load all the fonts. Search for the fonts what you wish to. I'm using the Jost font, so that will add that import URL at the wherever you placed your cursor. Then I need to add that font for my font family, Jost. If that font is not loaded, use the sans serif and come over here. Cool. So now we successfully set up our project, so everything is nicely done. And let's clear it up some boilerplate code over here. So I don't need this setup. Move it. Web vitals, move it. Logo, move it. And we don't need the app.css, delete it. And we don't need this app.test.js, delete it. Okay, and let's go to the app.js and delete this logo and delete this app.css, and let's delete this header and clear this. So let me add some CSS Tailwind CSS classes, flex. So it's nothing but it's a flex box, and we'll make the width as screen. Take the 100% screen of width and height, and then width and height of the screen. After this, next what we need to do is I need to align the items in the center and justify the content in the center. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to display the text like hi there, how are you? So that's it. Okay, and let me add some color property for it, text to Excel and then text blue. So the suggestions are given by you that Tailwind IntelliSense. So go ahead and install them first. Okay, and now let's go to the index.js, and here we need to remove some of them. So this we deleted it, remove it, and then we also deleted this one, remove. Save the changes. Okay, so usually I just literally delete everything and then type it everything from the scratch, but here I just forgot to do it, so I just modifying the code. Okay, so no issues with that. We deleted all the boilerplate codes and we altered it completely. So now let's fire it up. So yarn start. So you can type npm run start or yarn run start, that's up to you. So if you hit yarn start, so that will start our React project. So it's getting started, it's loading. So first time when you're starting the React applications, like it will take a while to get started, so we just need to be so patient until it gets started. So now it's loading the local host and it's loaded in my another screen. So let me load it over here. Localhost 3000, look at that. So we got our text in the center of the screen, and along with that customization and all those things, that makes sense that our Tailwind CSS is successfully configured. So next what we are going to do, we are going to create this nice 3D designs, and I'm going to show you how to create it. Okay, now let's go to our Spline, which the project which we created. And over here we don't need this, so let me delete it, and let me delete this things. Okay, so now as I said, we're having lots and lots of components over here, and you can see here we're having the cube and this sphere and all these options over here. Okay, so if you're using this pen tool, it's very easy. You just need to click it and then you need to draw however you wanted it. Okay, just like this. Just click and drag and create a shape however you wanted it. And then complete that design. So that will be creating that. So create however the design however you want, and look at that. So we created something like 5 or yes, whatever you want. So we created something over here. Okay, and once you created it, you can add some color changes over here from the material. So I can change the color, I can choose color, whatever color I wish to have. So I can choose, let me choose like light purple over here. And the most important thing is you can see it's having some lightning over here. So I can change that light, what color light you want over there. So if I choose like white color, currently you don't see anything, and I'll show you why and later. Okay, and if you want to rotate this, so all you have to do, hold your control key and then click it and move it. So that will gives you the 3D look of this object. So currently there is no 3D look. So to add 3D look, what you need to do is in the shape option, you can find the extrusion over here. So just expand it. That will gives you the 3D option over here. Look at that. So let me make it to 50. And then if you want some bevel effect, you can add some bevel effect, but that was messing up our shape. So I don't want to add, so I'll add some corners over here. So like 9 or 10 something. Okay, 15, that's good. And now if I go here and I add the one more layer above it, I'm going to use the personal layer. So that will create a nice look over here. So now you can see that lightning effect, whatever that color what we applied, it's applied perfectly over there. And I'm going to change this effects a little bit. I'm going to use some color. Okay, I think this is pretty good. Okay, so now let me reset it and look at that, how cool it is. Now let me run it. See, so we successfully created a simple 3D shape with our freehand tool. So now let me show you how to create that cube and all those things. So let me delete it. And to creating this, all you have to do, make sure that you in the 100% screen view and click this cube and drop and just click it or drag it or just simply click it. So now we created that cube, and let me expand it a little bit. Initially this is the size, and let me rotate it. Hold your control key and click and rotate it. Okay, so currently this is how the cube is looking, and it's having all the sharp edges and all those things. Let's change the color first. Go to the material and choose whatever the color you wish to have. So I'm choosing something like this, and then I'm going to add some lightning. I'm going to use some light white color, and I'm going to add one more layer called first. Okay, so that will add this lightning effect. You can play around with this color, or you can play around with this. So you get this gradient. You can have two different colors over there, or you can use this rainbow effect. You can use the rainbow and glass, that will gives you the glass layer above it. And displays, you can use lots and lots of options over here. You can play around with this. Just go through their official documentation and their tutorials, whatever they provided. And here it's having the image. If you have any image, you can directly load that image over here. It should be a PNG, and make sure that the size and everything perfectly loaded before adding it to it. In this case, we are going to use the first null. Okay, so click first null. Okay, and then and sorry for this, like a zooming effect. So the zoom, I try to increase the zoom, but I couldn't increase the zoom. So just use your own machine to watch over all this application much more briefly. Okay, so then what we need to do is I need to add this corner. Look at that. So we successfully reduced that corner. So 15 is more than enough. And the first null, it's looking too bright, so I'm just going to change it to different color now. So this will make sense. Okay, so that's looking cool. So just play around with this color settings and all those things and move it until you feel satisfied. Okay, so I'm just feeling it's okay now. Okay, so then what we can do is over here, if you scroll up, you have this states and events. States, it's to monitor the base state and the new state. Okay, and I'm going to create a new event. The event I'm going to create is, you can see that what event you're going to use, start or scroll up. So let it keep it in the start now for the time being. And now I'm going to create a state. So this is the base state. Okay, if something is happening, that means in the new state, I'm going to increase the size of it. Increase the size, and I'm going to place it a little bit. So use this arrow marks to move it up and down and left, back and forth. So use this arrow marks. Okay, so then I'm going to rotate it a little bit. Okay, so now I need to change the color. I will change the color to something like this, and I'll change the first null color also. Okay, so we are changing it from blue to magenta or pink or something else. Okay, and over here on start, the event should start doing the state from the base state. It should move on to the state animation, and it should repeat the animation in a cycle, ease in and ease out, duration 1 second. And now if I click play button, look at that, how cool it is, right? It's keep on like playing that animation again and again and again. So you can just change that option to hover. If I want to change it to hover, when it should happen only when the mouse hover, I'll change it to mouse hover, no repeat, and I change it to spring option. Look at that. Now if I click this, see how cool it is, right? Just like that, you can create all the other shapes one by one. I hope now you guys get the point. Okay, so instead of wasting the time, I'm just going to use the existing option, whatever the 3D model, which I already created it over here. So now this is the option we are going to use. Okay, so this cube and all those things over here. So you guys just create your own models as you wish, and I'm okay with that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to export this. Click export, and you can see that it's providing you the public URL along with the embedded tag. You can use it as an embedded tag in your HTML, all those things. and you need to subscribe it if you don't want your logo at the right end or the left end over there. Okay, so for the time being, I'm just leave it as it is, and I'm going to change it to React component. We are using the React, and I'm going to use the React component. Okay, so this is the component, we are going to use it now. Okay, then so we successfully created our 3D model. So let's go back here and let's integrate it to our project. So let's make some customization first, then we will bring it into our screen. So first what we need to do is we need to remove these things, remove it, and then I need to add width, screen. Okay, so minimum height and all those things. So minimum height, it's going to be screen only, minimum height screen, and then flex, it's going to be column, item center, justify the center, and the position is going to be relative, and the color I'm going to use is the BG primary color, which we already added in our Tailwind CSS, which is coming from here. Okay, so primary, okay, BG primary, and let me keep it, minimize it so you can see it. And padding bottom of this is going to be PB20, yeah, PB20. Save the changes. And inside here, now what we are going to do is inside here I'm going to I can create a navigation bar and all those things. First what we are going to do, we are going to bring that 3D design into our project. So let's go back to their website, and to bring it you need to install this package. Okay, so let's go to our Visual Studio Code, expand it, and create new terminal, and add yarn, add, paste it, Spline tool, React Spline. Okay, so install it. So this will add the React Spline tools to interact our 3D models with our React application. Okay, so let's wait until it gets installed. It's loading, and let's go and copy that code. Where is it? Let's copy it from this main tag. I'll copy it from here and I paste it. So all I have to do is I just need to just a moment. Okay, so here I'm going to create one more division, and I'm going to create it as a relative, position relative, and I'm going to name it as ID as home. So either you can keep it as a division or as a section. For the time being, I'm just keeping it as a division itself. And inside here, I'm just going to paste it. Okay, paste it, and I don't need this main. Let me delete it. Save the changes, and we need to import this one, so that will importing from the Spline tool, React Spline. Save the changes, and let's go here and go to our project. Where it is? Where is our local host? Here it is. And look at that, we are getting error, which is absolutely fine. It's showing that Spline tool runtime it's not installed. So let's go ahead and install that. So yarn, oops, not there. Yarn add Spline tool runtime, and it's loading. So that's installing, loading. So I hope this will fix that problem. Save the changes. Once it's done, save the changes, and let's go ahead, and there is no mistakes anymore, and something happened. Look at that. So it's taking time to load that little bit for initially, and it successfully integrated it. Look at that, guys. We successfully bring our Spline design, whatever we created, which is now successfully loaded to our React application. So next what we are going to do, we are going to bring this nice navigation bar over there. So that's what we are going to create next. Okay then, so now let's go back to the Visual Studio Code, and then right above here, what we are going to do, we are going to add our navigation bar codings. So let's create a nav tag, and for this nav tag we are going to add quite a big class properties. So this is going to take the width full, that means the 100% width, and the padding I'm going to use in the left and right as 6, and z index 50, and that means it should be at the top of all, and this is going to be the fixed position, and it should not move in the left and right side. So insert x0, that means left and right 0. So this is nothing but this is not a Tailwind properties, it's like a basic CSS properties itself. Okay, so you don't need to worry about it. And the top, it should keep it in the 2, that means 8 pixels from the top. Okay, and flex, it should be a flex, justify center, and items center. So inside this navigation bar, we are going to have a division, and then that division is going to have a class name, and that is going to be width full. Okay, it's going to be the width full only for mobile screens. When it comes to mobile screen, it should be width full, but on the medium screen, it should be use 880 pixels. It should use 880 pixels. So we are creating, whenever I'm writing these styles, I will explain, like we are going to write for the mobile screen and also for the medium and the large screen also. For the time being, the navigation bar, if you're over here, you can see that. So you can see that like this navigation bar is, see, when it comes to tablet or tablet screen or medium screens, so it's taking the 100% width, but when it comes to mobile large screen, it's taking that 880 pixels. So that's for that purpose only we are writing that. Okay, so then BG NavBar background color, it should use that color which I already added in the Tailwind configuration, and padding 4, and then rounded to XL. Okay, flex items center. Okay, save the changes, and now that will gives you this particular button over that division over here. And then inside here, I'm going to add a paragraph tag with a class name of text LG and text slate 200. After that, font medium. The name, I'm just going to type my name, Vetrivel Ravi, and that will display the name over there. Cool. Then after here, what we need to do is we need to bring a division and class name. Okay, so this division, it's going to be hidden in the small screen, and it should be displayed only in our big screen. So initially hidden, but from the medium screen, once the medium screen is getting started, change that hidden to flex, then item center, and the gap between it is going to be 6, and margin left 6, and the flex 1, take the complete width. Okay, and inside here I'm going to add quite a multiple anchor tags over here. Okay, so anchor tag, and initially I just add hyphen over there, and later one by one section we add that ID name over here. Okay, anyway, we'll add it home. That's ID name we added over here, home. And for this, we are going to add a class property called class name, called text base, and then text base, the color of it, and then font medium. And on hovering it, we need to change the color. Whenever it gets hovered, change the color to text slate 100. Okay, and cursor, absolutely it's going to use the point, and the duration is going to be 100 seconds, and ease in, ease out, ease in, ease out. Save the changes, and let's look at here. Cool, right? So it's having this option over here, and then when I change this to mobile screen, that menu will hidden over there, it will not display. Okay, cool. So let me keep it like this so that we can toggle it to mobile screen and the normal screen. Okay, so then I'm just going to copy it, and I'm going to paste it a few more times. This is going to be about, and this is going to be projects, and this is going to be contacts, contact. And right after here, we need to add one more, that is our download button. For this, we are not going to add any link because it's going to be a link which helps you to download your CV or anything. Just upload it in your drive or anywhere and provide that link over here. Okay, and then this change the text to download. Download is going to have a quite different options. So let me delete everything. And margin left, it's going to be auto because it will comes very close here. I don't want that. It should be in the right side corner. So margin left auto, then text base, and after that text base, and then font medium. On hover, change the color to text slate 100, and then cursor pointer and border text base, and px2, padding top and bottom 1, and rounded XL. Okay, and then one second, and whenever we are hovering it, on hover, change the we need to change the color. On hover, we need to change the border color. On hover, border gray 100, border gray 100, and duration 100, ease in, ease out. Save the changes, and let's go ahead and have a look over there. Look at that, it's having this nice border design over there. So now when I minimize it, it will not be available over there, and when I expand it, it will be available over here. So for small screen, we just need to change that design completely, and that's what we are going to do next. Okay then, so before moving on to our mobile navigation screen, so we need to fix this scroll bar over here, right? So we need to fix that. So let's go back to our application and let's open up the index.css over here. Now what I need to do is, for the body tag, WebKit scroll bar, and for HTML, WebKit scroll bar, display none, and save the changes, and look at that. Now that scroll bar is not anymore over there. So let me close this and let's bring this side by side, and I'll give this side screen, minimize it. Okay, so now I'll write the code over here, and you can see, we can see that code instantly, how the code is making changes in our project. Okay, so before going to that, I need to create a new state. So use state snippet. So without pressing any key, just type is active and then press tab, false. So this is the fast way to write your use state, your state creation. So then let's import that package. So the use state is imported, and we need to bring that menu icon, right? So if you have a look over here, you can see that it's having this menu icon. For this, we need to use the React icons. So I'm using the React icons. Okay, so wait a second. Why this much of Visual Studio Code is created? Save the changes. Okay. Oh god, I think I closed my browser. Wait a second, let me bring it back. Localhost, bring this side and make it Look at that. Cool. Right, so we bring it that over here. Next, what we need to do is we need to open it here. Then over here, now what I need to do is I need to open my terminal, and I'll need to create a new terminal. This is our server, and over here I need to run yarn add react icons. This is the package name we are going to add, so install it. So this will add all the yarn all the react icons packages inside our project, so that we can use it whatever the icons we needed it. Okay, so let me go to the top, and I'm going to import that icon we needed. Import from react icons, and that inside the react icon we have lots of package. I'm using an IO file. Icons, IO menu. This is the icon we are going to use for it. So where is our navigation bar is finishing? So where here, and this division. This is where our navigation bar is finishing. That home menu. Okay, and right after here, I need to bring that menu icon. So I'm going to create one more division and class. Okay, text, we can say that this should be block for the mobile screen, display block, and from the medium screen it should be hidden. That's why medium hidden, and margin left auto, and cursor pointer. Inside here, this division, I'm going to bring that menu icon. So IO menu, class name, text, and then text size is going to be 2XL, and text base. Say the changes. That should display our icon over there. Look at that. Now we have our icon over there. So then what we need to do is whenever I'm clicking it, it should bring that menu icon. So is active. State, what is that state? Okay, sorry, is active. If that menu is active, then render this particular component. If that menu is not active, don't render it. So when I click it, I will change the state to active. If that is active, it will bring this particular division. So come on, division. Inside this division, we are going to add quite a few properties. So first, let me add some classes for it. So padding on all the corners in both X and Y axis, and width is going to be 275 pixels, and BG is going to be NavBar, and rounded edge, and it's going to be fixed position. From the top, 24, not 2x4, 24. And from the right, 16. Flex column direction, items, everything in the center, and justify everything evenly, spread evenly, and gap between them, it's going to be 6. Okay, inside here we are just going to bring all our anchor tags from there, copy it and paste it here. Save the changes. So currently nothing will happen. What we need to do is we need to add on click event for this division. On click, call a callback function, and set is active to not is active. If it is true, make it false. If it is false, make it true. So now it should work. Let's try. If you click it, something is wrong. Oh god, my bad. This on click event is not supposed to be here. I returned inside the is active event itself. This on click event should be written for our menu tag. My bad. I'm sorry for that. So now it should work. If I click this, look at that. it's bringing that menu, and it's having that nice exact same animations over here, but this button is going to the right side. Why? It's because of our margin left auto. See the changes. Look at that. Cool, right? Now if I click this, that will gone, and later we'll add some animations by using framer motions, and it's pretty good enough, I think so, for the time being right now. Then if I click this, it's going to that particular ID, but this is not going back. This menu need to be this menu need to be removed once you successfully click that particular link. So for that, I need to add that exact same on click event. Okay, I need to make it false, not active. I need to make it false. So what I need to do is I hold your alt key and click over here, not here, here. Okay, so this will create the multi cursor, and press enter and type on click event, call it a callback function, and type set is active as false. Save the changes. Now if you click it, it will be false, and it will changes that link, and the menu will be removed. So we successfully finished that menu integration for our mobile screen. Cool, right? Then what we need to do is, okay, so we need to bring that where is that portfolio here. So let me load it, and that will get loaded, and look at that. So we need to have this press and drag to orbit, so the user can click and drag that orbit to change the orbit of that 3D. So we need to bring this button. Okay, to do that, what we need to do is, so you need to go to your spline integration, where we are integrating our spline. Our spline is getting integrated over here. So right after this spline, I'm going to create one more division, and inside this division, I'm going to make it this division as an absolute division, because it's going to be placed over here. So absolute division, and the bottom, it's going to be from the bottom, we are going to increase to 10. Okay, then with full and justify the content in the center, items in the center, and that I think we need to make it as a flex, then only it will work. Okay, flex. And inside this division, we are going to have one more division, div, and that is going to have a class name. Class name, it's going to be shadow MD, that means shadow medium, and padding 4 in all the corners, and then flex items center, justify center, and then BG zinc 900 is the color we are using, and rounded 3x. Save the changes, and look at that, we have that division over here, but no text inside it, that's why. So I'll create a paragraph tag inside it, and let me add some styles for it. So text white, I'm using text to white. Okay, or let's see how the white color is working, and press and drag to orbit. Save changes. So that will brings that text over there. Press and drag to orbit. So it's working perfectly. And text is too bright, so let me change this to text base itself. Okay, so that's perfect, right? So we successfully created our home screen with our working navigation bar, and it's working perfectly. It's completely responsive also. If I make it big screen, and this is how it looks in the big screen, and it's working perfectly. Look at that. So we successfully integrated both tablet and desktop screens, and along with our mobile screen. So next we are moving on to our about section. This is what we are going to work on next. Okay then, so now let's jump into the about section. So what we need to do is, so let's have a look at over here. So we're having one image, and we're having a text with this button over here. Okay, cool. So what we need to do is, so let's create a main section, main tag over where we need to create, this is the division Okay, this is our main division. Okay, so right, that means, so where it is ending over here, and this is for this one. Okay, right after here, this is our main sections. Okay, so here I'm going to create a main tag. Okay, inside this main tag we are going to create all our sections one by one. So this main tag is going to use the class as, like, it should take the 80% of the 80% of the screen size, whole screen size, take the 80%. So that will maintain the equal space in the left and right. Then from the margin top, it should be 16 pixels. Okay, so margin top 4 or 5, we'll use 5. Okay, so inside this, so first what we are going to do, we are going to create the about section, home section, which is already done. So this is going to be about section. Okay, so here let's create that section. In this section is going to have a class name, and that class is going to be use the full width of the parent element. And then we are going to use the grid, and grid column we are going to make it 2-column template. Okay, and for small screen it should be 1, but for the from the medium screen it should be 2 columns, grid columns 2, and then gap between it is going to be 4, and margin x and y axis is going to be 96 pixels. Okay, cool. Inside this section, and we need to name it as an id as an about, just like exact id what we created above for about section. So inside this we having 2 divisions, one is for image box and another one is for our content box. So let's create that 2 divisions first. Okay, so let's focus on the first division, and that is going to be our image division. Okay, so div, so div 2 division, we need to have 2 division in it, content and that for image. So this is, let's say this is for image box, and this is for content box. So comment it wherever it's possible, so that will not confuse you. Okay, so later, even if you're opening this code after a quite long time, you can easily understand it. Okay, so this division, it's going to use class width full. Let's change it back over here. Okay, width full, and height, it's going to be 420, flux, items center, justify center. Inside this I'm going to have one more division, and that division is going to be class name. Okay, for the width is going to use 275 pixel, and height it's going to use 340 pixels. Okay, and what we are trying to do is, if you have a look at it, it's having an image, and behind that image it's having this some shape also. So we need to bring that shape. That's for that shape only we are writing these styles now. So height 340 pixel, and background I'm going to use emerald 200, that's the color I'm using, and rounded ND. Okay, save the changes. So now you can see that it's having this nice shape over here. Okay, so don't worry about this. Actually, what's the problem now happening? Nothing. We'll see after that. We'll figure it out why its white space is coming over here. I think I didn't give the color for our main application. No, I given the color, but it's going out. Okay, we'll see what's happening and what is the issues and everything. So inside this, now what we need to do, I need to bring that image. Inside this. Let's bring that image first. So image. Okay, so for that I already added all the assets inside this image folder. So let me bring these assets to my Visual Studio Code. Where it is? Here it is. So let me bring it, and then I'll drop it inside the source folder. Okay, So you can add all your images, whatever the images you're going to use. So add all the images, and let me load my image first. Let me load that image. Import Vetri from /images/ what is the file name I'm having? Vetri.jpg. Vetri.jpg. Save the changes. Scroll to bottom. And inside here, we need to load that image. Vetri. So I hope that fixed that. Okay, so that image is loading perfectly over there. And I need to add some class name for it. Class name for this image, it should use the full width. Use the full width and height full absolute. Okay, and minus right, move from the right side 4 and top 4, so that we have a nice design. Object cover rounded LG and drop shadow to X. Save changes. My bad. Why it is going to the top? I think the problem is because of this relative. Add relative. Good. Right, so relative, it's working fine. Okay, so now you can see that it's having this image styles over here. And then now let's add some styles for our second division over here. Let's look at it, how it's looking in the big screen. Okay, in the big screen itself, the color, background color, it's having some issues. We need to fix that background color. Why it's happening like that? Let's make sure whether we added these styles, everything properly. So sometimes mistakes happen, so we can fix it. So flex with screen. Actually, I think the problem is coming. It's because of this minimum height only screen, not the maximum height. Yeah, we fixed that solution. Cool. So now it's working perfectly. Okay. So then I think over here we're having some issues. So what is that? I think it's because of that dark drop shadow. Because of this drop shadow only, I think so. So we can add shadow, medium or large. That's up to you. Okay, so now this is perfect. Let me bring it to the side screen. Now it's working perfectly, guys. So background color and everything is looking awesome. Okay, so we loaded our image perfectly, and right after here we need to load our content. Okay, so then what we need to do is we need to write the styles for this class name. Class, this is going to use the full width. Take the complete width, whatever the parent it's having, and height you should take only 420, and the flex is going to be column, and item center, justify center, everything is going to be centered. Inside here I'm going to have a paragraph tag, and for that paragraph tag I'm going to add text LG as the text size, and text base as the text color, and everything should be going to align in the text center. And I'm using the dummy text, that is nothing but the lorem ipsum, and add one more paragraph, lorem ipsum. Oops, not this one. Lorem ipsum. Save the changes. So that will brings the content over here. Cool. So now we having the content as we are expected, and next we need to bring this nice button. So for this button we need to add a series of CSS classes. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy it and paste it over here. It's just nothing but some utility classes. Okay, you just pause the video and write all these CSS classes, whatever I written over there, or just go ahead and click the link in the description and copy it and paste it. So let me copy it and paste it for the time being now. So this is the classes which I written for that particular button. It's a quite a large CSS classes. So if I save the changes, You can see that we're having the nice button over there. Cool, right? Okay, so everything is pretty much done. So we successfully done with our about section. If I go back here, let me make it a full screen. This is how it looks in the full screen, and this is how it looks in the small screen. Look at that, how responsive it is. If I bring it to big screen, it's changing automatically. If I bring it to small screen, it's changing automatically. So next, what we are going to do is we are going to bring and we are going to work out on this particular nice vertical timeline section, and that's what we are going to do next. Okay then, so to create that nice vertical timeline animation, so this timeline section, I'm using the package. I find out this nice package in the online like that, nothing but the vertical timeline npm. Search for that, you can find this React vertical timeline component, I think so. Wait a second, I'm quite confused. Yeah, this one. This is the package we are using, so we will use it and we will alter it however we want it. And they provided a nice documentation along with some dummy data over here. Okay, so all we have to install this package. So let me copy this command and go to my Visual Studio and open my terminal and type yarn add install it. So that will install it, and let's go back to the documentation. We need to copy these two different lines and we need to import it. Okay, and we need to customize all these things. Let's do it one by one. So it's installed now. Let's go ahead and copy these two different lines, copy it and scroll up, and at the top right after here, I'm going to import that two different packages what we installed. And first we need to create the vertical timeline. So let me copy this. Okay, and let's go back here. Where is our section is ending? Our section about section is ending over here. So right after here, we need to create one more section. So this is our timeline. So let me create one more section. Inside the section, I need to create this vertical timeline. Okay, and for the section, I'm going to add quite a few class name. Width, we are going to take a full width, and flex, items center, and justify center. Save changes, and inside this vertical timeline, they're having this vertical time element. So let me copy the single style where it is ending. I think this is where it's ending, vertical timeline element. Save the changes, and it will throw an error that this icon is not there. So for this, I'm going to type icon IO. What icon we use it? We can use, wait a second, we can use this particular icon, IO code working, and we need to import that icon also. IO code working. So let's go back to the browser and let's go back to our localhost. Look at that. See, it's bringing, that icon is changed and it's bringing that design, and it's having this, and the line everything is generated. Let's go here and go to down, and let's copy this vertical element one more time. The beauty is you don't need to change anything else. That will automatically shift it back to the right side. Cool, right? So that's the advantage I feel. I don't need to change much information in this code. So this is really awesome, right? You feel free to use whatever the timeline you prefer, whatever the package you prefer to use, but this is quite interesting. So then I just remove it. Okay, I'm going to create a timeline, because this is, I'm not supposed to repeat the same line of code again and again. I will create a reusable code. Okay, I will map it with the different data. What we need to do now, we need to change the style. All we have to change the styles. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the content style. So already I having the color code everything in my hand, so you are feel free to change the color codes and all those things by yourself. Just change the colors code over here. So I'm going to change the color codes over here. So hold your alt key, click here. So I'm going to replace everything. So 21, 24, 31. This is the color code I'm going to change. And as well for these two, FFF and this FFF 888. Now I'll save the changes and let's have a look. Look at that. So this is the design I'm looking for. So I'm okay with this. And next we need to make this as we need to map it with the different data. Okay, so what we need to do is I'll go here and let me create a new file over here called data.js. Inside this data.js, we are going to export that experience. So export const experience, and it's an array. And inside here, I'm going to have an array of object. Okay, so you can copy this details from the description if you want, because anyway you need to change all these details and everything. So this is just a dummy details I'm having over here. Okay, so date, that means the work experience date, and when and where, and title, what is the profession, and the location where, and the job description. Okay, and this is the icon. We need to import this icon, otherwise it will throw us an error. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I already imported it at the top over here. Okay, let me leave it over there, and then I'm just going to copy where. Okay, let me copy it from here and let me paste it here. I'm not using this, and this is not necessary over here because we are bringing it from here itself, so we don't need that. So now this packages will be exported it, and now we need to map it. This element, this vertical element, needs to be repeated for a certain number of times for that until the data what we're having in our hand. So let me open it and let me bring that experience, if that is an experience dot map it and get that element and then open it. And we are going to create a component, so make sure using the normal parenthesis and paste it inside. And here we need to pass the key element, otherwise it will throw us an error. Every element, every component should be mapped. Whenever you're using a map, every component should be unique. So key is going to be n.id. Save the changes and let's go back to our browser, and it's showing iCode working is not there because we removed that. So instead of this, render the icon from the data n.icon source. So now it's rendering the data. Look at that, see, and the nicely animation, everything is done, and the icon, everything is changed. I'm using the same icon for each and everything. You can use different icon for yourself and change that icon source in the data.js. Okay, and it's not loading the data from there, it's loading the static information. And date, this is the place we need to display that date. So n.date, and this is the for title, n.title, and this is for, what is this, location, n.location, and this is for description, n.description. Save changes, and now this should bring all the information. Look at that, 16 present, 14, 16, 20, 20, 14, 12 and 11, 10 and 11. So we successfully completed our about section and along with the timeline what we are looking for. So our about section is now completely successfully integrated and it's completed. Now if you go to our main project, next we need to integrate our project section. This is what we need to integrate now. So that's what we are going to discuss next. Okay then, so let's move on to our next project section. So let me bring it in the side-by-side screen, like this, and let me bring it to a mobile view, and let me bring our, okay, so let me see. Okay, so let me keep it over here, expand it. Okay, so now I can see it in the mobile screen also. Okay, cool. So about section and above the home section, and we have a timeline, so everything is nicely done. So next what we need to do is we need to do our project section, and right after this section, enter. So here I'm going to create the section, and I'm going to comment it as the projects section. Save the changes, enter. And this, for this project section, let's add the classes. So class, it's going to be flex, and flex rack, and items center, and justify evenly, and margin Y, it's going to be 24, and gap between each and every element inside it, it's going to have this gap, this 4 pixels gap. So that's what we are going to do. Okay, and inside this, first I'm going to create a division, and this division is going to be class name. It's going to have a border of 1 pixel, and border color, it's going to be zinc 800. Okay, and rounded MD, and padding, I'm just adding 2 padding, and minimum width, it's going to be 275 pixels. That's the minimum width. And for medium device, maximum width, it's going to be 275 pixels. Okay, minimum width, you should take 275 pixels. Maximum width from the medium device, it's going to take 275 pixels. So for mobile screen, no worries, it will take the maximum, so the complete width, whatever the space is available. Okay, so then hover event, when I'm hovering it, I will change the border color to zinc 600, then duration 100, ease in out. Okay, inside this division, I'm going to have a paragraph tag. So let me say the changes. What we got, nothing. So look at that, this is what we got over here. So then inside this division, we are going to add a paragraph tag, and that paragraph tag is going to have a class name called text. It's going to be LG, not more than that, and the text base, that's the color, and font medium, and uppercase. And inside this paragraph, for the time being, I'm just loading sample name. Save the changes. Cool, look at that, that's looking nice, right? So let's load the image now. Okay, right after this paragraph, I'm going to load the image, and the source, I'm just going to, for the time being, I'm just loading my own personal image, and later we will change it. Let's load it now. So that will bring the image over here. Okay, so we what I'm going to do is, for the image, I'm just going to fix the width. For the width, this image width and height, it's going to be our parent box element only. So here we fixed the width only, not the height. So better use the same size, because project anyway we are going to display with the specific height and width of the image only. I know all my images are in the same size, so for the better result, use the same size. Otherwise, fix the height over here, what height you are looking for. Okay, either use the same image size or fix the height over here, just like this. So minimum, not 27 to 75. Okay, just like this, fix the width over here. So now let's add these styles for the image. So class name, it's going to be width, use the parent element width, height, use the parent element width, and object cover, and rounded MD MY4, top and bottom margin 4. Now it's having some margin space here and over here. So then after that, what we need to do, we need to bring a division. If you have a look at it, it's having this division. We need to bring that one. So div class name flex, use the complete width, flex 1, item center, justify center. Inside this, we are going to add a paragraph tag and class name, and that's going to be text lg, and it's going to use text gray 300, and that is nothing but here I'm just going to say technologies. What are the technologies we use to create that project? And inside this technology, we having the span tag, and that's going to use the block because it should take the available spaces completely, and text sm small and text gray 500. Here we are going to type the technologies, whatever the technology we used for that. So Next.js, React.js, save changes. And now you can see that we're having these two text, Next.js and React.js over here. So why its color is not taking, oh, not to text. Look at that. Now you can see that the two different color changes over there. And I need to bring that GitHub icon over here. So after this paragraph tag, I'll add an anchor tag, add that GitHub link over here. We will add that. Inside this anchor tag, I'm going to create a division, and that division, nothing is going to happen. Inside this division, I'm just going to add that logo. So logo, I'm using IO logo GitHub. This is the icon I'm going to use. IO logo GitHub. Okay, and then say class name, it's going to be text base for the color, text 3XL for the size, cursor pointer, save changes, and let's see, it's looking like this. Actually, it is not supposed to look like that. What is the mistake we made? It's aligned in the center. That means because of the flex box only. Oh, over here between. Now look at that. Cool, right? So we successfully finished the design what we are looking for. So let's load the image. So go back to the data.js and let's add some projects image, because we are not supposed to repeat the same code again and again. So export cost projects equals array. So I'm just here inside it, you need to create ID field, name field, image source, and text and GitHub link. These are the fields you need to create it for this project. Okay, so I'm just copying it and I'm pasting it. So go ahead and take your time, pause the video and update all the informations. So what project you've done and what is that image and all those things. So image 1, so you can't pass the link from the local unless you need to import it first. Okay, if you're already having it in the cloud, that's better. You can just give it as a link over here. Otherwise, you need to import it just like this. What you need to do, you just need to import each and every image over here just like this. Okay, and that's it. It's pretty much done. Save the changes. There is no error so far, so everything is perfect. So let's go back to the app.js, and what we need to do is I need to render this division. Which division? Inside this pro section, we having this division from here to here. That division needs to be rendered only if there is any projects. If there is projects and projects.map, each element, open it, render, paste the changes, and we need to pass a key. Key is going to be n.id. Okay, id is nothing but which is coming from here. this ID, that is that ID. Okay, instead of this name, I need to display my title, n.name, project name, and instead of this image, n.image source, and instead of technologies hard coded, render it dynamically text, and over here instead of hyperlink empty, we will pass that dynamic link GitHub. Okay, why it's showing error over there? Did I deleted unwantedly anything? n.github, save the change. Now that should load all the image. Look at that, it's loading all the image. Cool, right? So let's make it full screen. And look at that, this is the problem. So here you can see this image is not perfectly fitting because of this text is getting bigger. So if you're adding more and more very big titles, so that will increase the height of the image, so that will mess up our alignment. So to avoid that, what we can do is, I can just what I can say, let me bring it to here. Now you can see that, that is, this height is not perfectly aligned. So to do that, what I can say is, I just need to check the length of the name. If the length is greater than 25, then open the dynamic string. Okay, then over here n.name dot slice that from 0 position to 25th character, and after that add 3 dots, else leave it as it is, n.name. Save the changes. Now if it's there, you can see that. Okay, so it's adding this tag over there. If I make it full screen, still that space is not enough. Okay, so let me reduce the size then a little bit. Okay, now this is perfect. Okay, so this is perfect, and that is readable, and also it's automatically adding that slicing and everything. So we successfully integrated the project. It's completely responsive. Cool, right? So we successfully finished the project. Next, what we need to do, and for the projects, I think we didn't add the ID, so add the ID projects. Project. What is the link we added in the upper projects? So make sure you're using the same ID name, otherwise it will not work. Projects. So let's make sure the link, everything is working. Home, it's going. About, it's going. Projects, it's going. But there is no smooth scrolling, right? So let's go to the index.css, and for body tag, for body and for HTML, we add the scroll behavior as smooth. Now it should scroll smoothly. Look at that. Instead of sudden movement, it's just scrolling smoothly. So next, we just need to finish our contact section. This is what we need to finish, and that's what we are going to do next. Okay then, so now let's get started writing the contact us section. So let's go to the app.css, and over there first we need to create a new section for our contact as CSS. For our contact, we need to create a new section. So let's say contact section, and let's create a new section for it and give a name for it, ID contact, and class name, it's going to be flex column, item center, justify center, width full my24. Open it. Okay, so inside this, first we are displaying this title, So paragraph tag, and for the paragraph tag class is going to be text to Excel and text grade 400, capitalize every first letter, and follow me on save changes. So that should display the title. Where it is, why it's not loading? Oh, look at that, it's here, but the color is not coming. Why? Again the same mistake. Text. Now you can see that we're having that title over there. Cool, right? So then what we need to do after here, I'm going to create a division to bring the social media links and everything. So class name, it's going to be flex items center, justify it in the center, width full my4, and flex wrap it, and the gap it's going to be 4. Okay, and here we are going to create an anchor tag. Inside this anchor tag, for the time being, leave it empty. Inside this anchor tag, we are going to have two different things. So for the time being, I'm just loading GitHub link, and I'm going to have a paragraph, class name, and let's say text LG, and text base, and this is going to be, let's say, GitHub itself. Save the changes. Icon, it's not loaded. It doesn't mean it's loaded, but you can't see that color. Okay, so I'm just going to give a color for the icon for this. So let's add some class name, text base, and text 3xl cursor pointer. Now you can see that icon and this. Okay, so let's fix this anchor tag style now. So let's make that quite awesome. Class name. Okay, we need to make that width as full, and for medium device it should be automatic. For normal for mobile screen only, it should be full. Other than from the medium device, it should take the automatic width according to the content. So px3 for medium device, px8. Okay, and py5 is common for both all the screens, and border, that's common for all the screens, and border sync 800, that's the not indigo, come on, border sync 800. Okay, then rounded to pixel. On hovering it, we are going to bring the border sync 600, color, duration 100, and ease in, out, and cursor pointer, flex items center, justify center, gap between each and every element is 3. Cool, so this is that thing. And later if you are adding one by one, so if I make it full screen, see, that size will change automatically. Cool, right? So next, what we need to do, we just need to make it, we need to map it with the different data. So let's go here and create the social links. So export social links equals array of objects. I'm just copying it and pasting that array of objects, so you guys just pause the video and type it. Okay, so ID everything is 1 1 1 1, so I need to change it to 2 3 4 and 5. Okay, so you guys need to import all these things, icon, different icon. For each and every icon, I just change the color and the styles, everything is same, just the color alone I'm just changing it. Okay, icon source, name, and the link, you guys add your own link over here. Okay, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, all the social media links over here. Maybe if you want to add more, add few more also. I'm just adding the 5 of these icons. Okay, and I need to import all those icons at the top, so let me import all those icons. Okay, so I didn't import all the icons. Social links is not defined. Okay, export, not export default, export const social links. Okay, then what we need to do, we need to bring all those social links inside this division. This anchor tag needs to be repeated for the certain number of times. So let's open it and let's import that social links. Import it, and social links dot map for n element inside it. Open it a component and then paste it, and this is going to have a key, and that is going to be n.id. Save the changes, and instead of loading this icon, not coding that icon, I'm going to load that n.icon source, and text is going to come from n.name. Save the changes, and look at that, it's loaded all the icons and the names, and everything is successfully done. If I maximize it, look at that, this is how it looks in the big screen, and this is how it looks in the tablet screen, and this is how it looks in the mobile screen. Cool, right? So we successfully created an awesome portfolio along with 3D model and with completely responsiveness. Cool. So everything is working perfect. Okay, so now all we have to do is to integrate our framer motion. That's what we need to integrate with this. So let me bring it to side screen, make it mobile screen, and let me bring my let me open here. So we are going to import the framer motion. We need to import this. We are going to use this framer motion for our animation purpose. So let us import this first. Open this framer motion and copy this name, but actually this is not their official website. So if you go to their official website, framer, no, not this one, not this one. Framer motions, that looks different. Framer motions, that looks completely different. Where is that link? Come on, see, lots of videos already in the YouTube. Animation framer, yeah, this is the one. Examples, if you go to the examples, you can see there are lots of examples will be there. Look at that, like this animations, and if you click this, see, like the school animations. So you can add all these animations. So you just need to go through with this document and this drag, wherever you can drag it inside this. See, even if I pull it out, it will go inside only. So like this animations, you can make it easily by using framer motions. So that's why we are going to install that framer motions. I hope I copied that name. Let me open my terminal, yarn add, yeah, framer motion. So let's install that package and let's move right ahead to our code. Yeah, this is our local host. So it's installing all the framer motions. So we need to import a package. Once it's installed, we can import that framer motions packages and all those things. Okay, and we will start the animation with that, and that's what we are going to do next. Okay, then so now our framer motion package is installed successfully. Let me go to the top of our component and let me import that package. import from framer motion. Here we are going to import animation presence and as well as the motion, these two objects. So we need to wrap everything into the animation presence. So let me wrap everything inside it. Control N. After this, paste it here. So now everything is inside the animation presence. So okay, because if your component anything is unmount, so this animation need to be present, that it should do that animation, then it should be unmount. That's why we are wrapping it inside the animation presence. And the initial animation, it should not start the initial animation, so make it false. Initial, it's going to be false. Okay, initial animation, initially it should not do any animation, because while page loading it should not do any animation. Animation needs to be triggered only whenever that object is getting triggered. Okay, so first we are going to do animation for this button, because when I click it, I need to add some that bubble effect, something like that. Okay, where is that button? I think this is that button. Okay, so we having that button over that. So for that button, what you need to do is we need to wrap this division completely. We need to wrap this division with motion dot that particular division. Okay, and it have a quite an options over here where like initially how you want to, and then animate while animating. So for instance, initially opacity should be 0 and the scale should be 0.2, and animate that once while animating it, animate it to opacity 1 and scale to 1. Okay, and transitions, how you want to do the transition type, it's going to be spring. Okay, so that, look at that, you can see that now. See, when I refresh it, it happens that it brings that animation. Initially it will be 0 and it will be changes, then all those things. If I change it to 0, you can't see that anymore. Oops, what happened? I'm sorry, my bad. So it's going to be 0 now. See, that is nothing. If I press 1, that will brings that button. Look at that. So it's bringing that animation. It's like as opacity 0, and it's bringing like that scale effects and all those things. But for that, I'm not going to add this one. I'm just going to type while tap only when I'm clicking it. That means when I'm tapping it. So reduce that scale percentage to 0.5. Look at that. It should see the changes. Refresh it. Okay, so it's done. So now if I click it, see, you can see that whenever I'm clicking it, you can see that button. Look at that button, how cool it is, right? Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to do the same thing for this button. So I need to make it a little bit fade and zoom in a little bit for this. So I need to wrap this division. Where is the division is ending? So Alt, and over here Alt, motion dot. Okay, enter. And for this, what we are going to do is initial. We are going to say initial is equals opacity 0, comma scale. I'm going to say 0.5. Initially, it should be opacity 0, and the scale it's going to be 0. That means 50% of its width. When then animate, while animating it, animate it to opacity 1 and scale 1.1. And while exit, use exactly the same animation as initial, and use the transitions as delay 0.1 seconds and type it's going to be Spline. Save the changes. Now if I click it, look at that, we're having that nice animation. It comes in. How cool it is, right? So we successfully integrated that animations for this. So all we have to do, we need to do the same thing for our all the buttons. Whenever I'm tapping it, I need to do the same actions for all the buttons. So where is our button? Download. This is that button. So I'll wrap this into a motion.a. Okay, so I just need to not animate. While tap scale colon 0.8. So click it. Okay, so oops, this is for this download, I think so. It's doing it for this download. That's why. Oh my god. Okay, so now we need to do it for the about section. Scroll down, go to the about section where it is over here. So wrap this button completely in our motion.button, and then while tap scale at 0.8. Whenever I'm tapping, reduce the scale to 80%, then increase it. Look at that. How cool it is, right? So it's working fine without any transition effects and all those things. It's cool, right? So then all we have to do the same thing for this particular button. So currently there is no link. That's why it's taking us to the top of the page. Okay. So let me go to the GitHub over here. So I'll wrap this div into motion.div, and here I need to say while tap scale that to 0.8%, and we will do the same thing for our social link also. Over this, wrap this to motion.a while tap scale 0.8 as a mistake colon. Save the changes. Cool, right? So we successfully integrated it, and now it's working. See, when I click it, it will take me to the top, but if you watch it closely, see, click and hold, it's reducing the scale to 80%. That means it's working perfectly. So we successfully finished the that animations and all those things, and you are feel free to use add much more animations as you wish, for like whenever I'm hovering here, what you want to do and all those things. You are free to use all these animations and all those things, like, okay. So then now after this, we need to move on to our next step. That's our project deployment. So we need to create a project in Firebase and we need to deploy it, and that's what we are going to do next. Okay, so let's go to Firebase, firebase.google.com. So go to that firebase.google and use your Gmail account to sign in with it, and click go to console. So that will take us to the Firebase console over here. So I'm going to create a new dashboard. So let's say portfolio 3.0 YouTube. Create it. If you want to enable all the Google Analytics features, you can enable it. For the time being, I'm just disabling it. So create the project, and that will load the project completely. So it will take a while, so like 30 seconds tops. So that will create a project in that 30 seconds, and now it's going to finish. So it's loading. Now it's successfully created. So click here to continue, and that will take you to the project dashboard. So this is the Firebase control dashboard. Over here we need to create a web app. So click that web app to integrate the Firebase with our React project. So click and give a project name over here. So let's say I'm just using the same name, portfolio 3.0. Okay, so click register app. So that will register our app with the Firebase project. Okay, so if you're first time using the Firebase, you need to copy this command and you need to install it in your project. That means if you're going to use the Firebase database and Firestore databases and all those things, you need to install the Firebase. So make sure that you guys install this. Okay, and you need to install one more thing, and that I will show you what you need to install. And once go to the project settings, and you need to install Firebase tools. Okay, so to use the Firebase tools and CLIs and all these things, you need to install Firebase tools in your machine. Firebase tools npm. This is the package you need to install, so to interact with the Firebase CLI and all those things. Okay, so we successfully created it, and then let's build our project now. So let's create a build version, so that will create the minimized version of our project. So here npm run build, so that will build it. And let me open my portfolio. This is the thing over here, and let me initialize the Firebase init. Okay, so our Firebase is initialized, and let me press Y. And here you need to choose the third option, hosting, configure files and Firebase hosting. Press spacebar to select that option and press enter. And here you need to use an existing project because we already created that project. So enter and find out your project over here. And the project which I created right now, this is the project I created, YT portfolio 3.0 YT. So select it. And do you want to use the public as your home directory? No, use the build as my home project directory build, because we are building our project and it's successfully done. Do you want to rewrite the index? Nope. And do you want to deploy it in GitHub? Nope. And do you want to, it's already exists, override it? Nope. So type nope for everything. And if you go here, and our build folder is successfully created, and it will create all the statics files along with the minimized version of our JavaScript files. Cool, right? And let's deploy it. Firebase deploy. So this will deploy our project in the Firebase. So it's loading. It started deploying. 20. And it's finalizing the version, so without any error. So everything is successfully done. So this is our link, copy it, and let's go ahead and paste it here. It's loading, and look at that. So our 3D is open, and how fast it is. Look at that. Even though if you're using this 3D designs and all those things, it's completely fast. And see how awesome it is. It's working so cool, right? These animations and effects and everything is working fine. If I scroll down, we're having this nice design. Cool, and it's completely responsive. If I toggle it to the mobile screen, look at that. This is completely responsive. You don't even need to do anything. Cool, right? If I refresh it, let's see how it's looking in the mobile screen. It's that everything is loaded. The spline is taking a split second to get load, but it's loading fine. That's absolutely fine. Our image, our content, our button. Why our button is happening like this? Oh, it's going beyond. When it's going beyond something like that, it's happening like that. But for mobile, okay. For 350 pixels, it's okay because no mobile screen. It's less than 350 pixels, so it's fine. It's working cool. And this toggle menu, that's absolutely fine. Cool, right? And our project, it's looking fine. And this is our button. And if I click, it's having that nice scroll behavior. It's working awesome, guys. So we successfully created a fully responsive modern 3.0 with framer animations and with 3D designs, and it's completely working fine. I hope you guys enjoyed this course, and if you enjoyed it, hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you in the next course. Bye bye, take care.